Well, we've finally got time to get back on the engine project. I don't know. Nothing to do for weeks but sit on the computer and finally get an engine to do to make some videos, and we seem to have suddenly got busy. But it's all interesting, by the way. Been to with the car salesman to the auction and driven a few cars back he buys. Another friend, my good friend with the Mini, he's found me a load of scrap and I've been affected to that, and one or two things, been of interest anyway. Right, back to the project. We'll take the spark plug out, which I've already loosened. That's a simple job, you can see it alright hopefully. I hope I'm close enough, but no one needs to know that. One thing I've got to tell you, I've had to watch the video back to refresh memory of where we got to. And I was saying about taking the flywheel off, and I mentioned that, I said the engine doesn't run without it. Well, what it does, as well as providing a spark at the right time and providing the air to work the air governor, I said the engine won't run without it. Well, I didn't explain it very well. What it is, an engine without a flywheel runs very lumpy. There isn't enough weight to keep it running smoothly. So basically it's weight that you add to the crankshaft to make it run smoothly. And when you tune engines up, you actually lighten the flywheel. But if the flywheel's too light, you actually risk breaking the crankshaft. So it's a very important part of the engine anyway. I just thought you might like to know that. I'll pop it back on the floor. Oh, I can't believe it. That's a telephone. Marvellous. Stopped before I got there. It'd only be one of these time wasting coming people, no doubt. Bit of side play there, but that's held up with the thing. Now, anyway, on with the project. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Right, there's something other important I want to show you. Head bolts, well, all the bolts have a certain torque pressure, and a torque pressure is usually in foot-pounds, which means if you've got 1 foot-pound, for argument's sake, a foot bar from the centre of the bolt with some scales on it, you go to 1 pound. Well, normally they're about, well, anywhere between 15 and 17 foot-pounds actually. But with experience you know how tight they need to be. However, without the torque wrench, what you can do, now these are the head bolts, there, hold the head on obviously. Well, what you can do to know how tight they go at the end is to slightly tighten them up. Now these might be slightly tight actually, they might want a slight tighten, they might be slightly under the recommended torque pressure. And also, when you're using second-hand bolts, in other words, bolts that have already been used, they're stretched to a certain point and then go tight. So basically, when you put them back, you tighten them up. But what you can do is, if you just tighten them very slightly, that one you see was loose. I can tell that just through experience. Now that one isn't. So you pull on that, and it goes a fraction, right? And that tells you how tight they should be. And these, I am guessing, and it is a guess, are about 20 foot-pounds, something like that, maybe 30. Because with a small socket like that, a decent pull, and I mean a decent pull on that, is about 45 foot-pounds. And if you get the long bar, I'll put it back in the socket there, but the long one, about that, and pull it fairly hard, that's about 60 pounds. So just a tip we've done. Right, we're going to take the head off and this little bracket there that comes off. And I've not done this, by the way. I've never seen inside this. It's a 4-stroke engine, so there'll be 2 small valves and a piston, and that's it. So it's a very simple job. Anyway, we'll whiz it off if we can. So that one was fairly tight. Some of these were a little bit loose, which means it's never been retorqued after the engine was first put together, and it should be. Anyway, it shouldn't be very long to take them off. What I'll do, I'll put this little extension on, and then we can take them out a lot quicker. Because I'm using the same gaskets now, as I said, I'm pretending to recondition this engine. It doesn't need doing. I'm also doing it for nothing. Right? It's not, this whole project, excuse me, whole project hasn't got to cost a penny. And so far, we're on budget. I hope we can stay on budget, but we'll see at the end of the day. Anyway, just take the head bolts out. In this case, if you have a long engine, you need to do them in sequence, to tighten them up in sequence, to stop warping heads. Some aluminium heads are a bit susceptible to warping, and it will cause problems with head gaskets going later. But generally with these small engines it doesn't matter. But what you do is you do that one, the corner ones, right, then you do the middle one there, and then that one there, and so on, when you tighten them up. But that's on a long head, and you know, it's not critical with cast iron and heads on normal engines, but some aluminium headed engines were a bit susceptible to warping, and so it was quite important. Anyway, we're digressing as usual, no problem. We're nearly there, just got the couple to take out. I've left that small spring on, the governor spring on, because on the plate for now, that one there, you can see it better now, it's off the engine, look, because it's curled round. I can easily take it off, but you just do that. But it'll save it for, I could put it in the jug of course, but it'll save it from getting lost, it won't get damaged. So we'll just place that down with the rest of the ancillaries on the engine. We really must get on and do this, else we'll have too long a video once again. Anyway, it's coming on, it's coming on.